soon as I got the cards out today, I was immediately getting this like time to wrap it up message. Um, some of these patterns that have been repeating over time have just it's almost like you woke up this morning and said, I don't know who that person was. That person isn't me anymore. I don't know. I don't know what was going on. It was call it a flip the switch, a change in hormones, or maybe it was some dream or delusional uh, adventure that one was going on. But that's no, that's not continuing anymore. So you wrap that up. You're putting that away, and then I go ahead and I pull those four at once of completion of just ending a cycle here. And then we have this Ten of Swords. It was like waking up and realizing that you had been entertaining a pit of snakes in your home and it was on the way to the kitchen. So every time you'd get up and you'd go and try to obtain some sustenance, you would trip into this pit of snakes. And realizing at one point, like, I could just remove the pit of snakes from my home. It does not need to be in my home. It doesn't belong here. So then the universe is like, good job. First of all, it's your home. You don't need a pit of snakes in it. Um, we all get into these patterns and habits, especially when it comes to a certain kind of a person, where they draw us in and then they breadcrumb us to death. Just breadcrumbs. It's just like you get this little tiny little bit and you're just addicted to it. It's like this taste that you're addicted to. And so you fall back into that trap over and over again. But you've decided that you have different goals for yourself at this point. And it's these goals that will allow yourself to truly feel some sense of fulfillment in your life. These are the goals that along the way, you're going to find everything else that completes you too. It's on the goals, on the way of achieving these personal goals, of prioritizing yourself, of doing something that you personally love, where you're vibrating your highest, where you're at your best, that all of these other things fall into place. You cannot chase something that does not want to be caught and expect to feel as though you are doing something good for yourself in your life. It doesn't want to be caught. So catch you, chase your dreams, chase your goals, and everything else will meet up with you at the finish line. First thing I heard when I pulled this imagination card was like, your sense of imagination is so good that you had envisioned a different outcome for yourself. So the second thing that I heard when I looked at this card was that it is also your imagination that puts you in a place where you are able to truly see what life can be for you, to draw yourself out of a endless cycle of disappointment and find something that really gives you hope and a feeling of bliss and completeness and feeling as though you're truly living life on your own terms. Now, this death card that comes with it is purely about the ending of a cycle that never intended on repeating itself. I'm hearing that there was a trap set here, and you mistook with that imagination. You mistook what that trap was, thinking that trap was the end of the road and that you were finally accomplishing what it is that you wanted. But really, it was to help you recognize what it is that you deserve, recognize what it is that you are willing to accept in your life versus what you have decided is just not going to be able to fit into your vision of a life. You have to really be specific sometimes, because sometimes we're like, well, I just want a relationship or I want a job that allows. You have this very kind of vague idea. But you want to be a lot more vivid in this imagination, in this description. I want this, I don't want this. And we don't want to focus on what we don't want. We want to hone in on the what you want so that it is very specific in its details. And you have to sometimes understand what you don't want in order to really clarify and get really vivid in the description of what it is that you do want. So now that this cycle has come to its end and you recognize what it is, it was a trap. That cycle was meant to end, it was meant to be over. Now you're ready to embark upon a new cycle. You're ready to embark upon a new journey, a new adventure for yourself. And using your imagination, you're getting really descriptive. And I want you to really take some time to visualize using that imagination. Daydream up the ideal situation and get really specific. Get really specific about how good it feels when certain things happen, because those are the events that you're truly manifesting at this point. We have come to this final pull, and the first thing I'm hearing is that it doesn't look like what you thought it would look like. It feels better than what you thought it would feel like. So, with both illumination and flexibility, we have to recognize that first, we have to identify the path that we're on, not by what it looks like or what it says it is, or by any descriptive terms, but how it feels intuitively. So there's going to be times when you're presented with an opportunity and you're like, that is not going to lead me to point B. However, something about it feels right. And what you discover is that's actually maybe a shortcut to point A point two, and A point two lead you directly to point B. It's an intuitive step that doesn't look like exactly what you expected. But if you trust the process and if you're willing to be flexible, if you're willing to adapt to um, the universe and accept what's being presented to you and accept and trust the process, what you realize is that you couldn't have predicted that for yourself, but it felt right and you go along with it and you ended up in a better place than you would have planned out for yourself. So sometimes we do have to be very flexible and we have to allow the universe to show us the way. We trust that feeling, we feel that feeling within us. And when we know it's right, we know it's right. If you're looking for clarity and guidance on a specific area, not only can you inquire with myself for a personal private reading, but you can ask your guides. You can be very specific, very direct, ask your guides for a sign, for clarity. Every time I am out and I feel like I need clarity on whether or not I should be out doing this instead of something else, I ask for specific signs and I can be very distinct about what kind of signs I'm looking for. Show me the way, show me this sign, show me feathers, show me butterflies, show me dragonflies, show me certain numbers, whatever it is that you recognize as signs from your spirit guides. Ask them to give you signs of clarity and guidance along the way. Ask them to assure for you that the way that you've chosen is the right way by making it the easiest path for you to follow. If it's not your path, if it's you're not meant to be on that path, you'll find obstacles and difficulties that are something that you can't overcome. And when you accept that process, you start to recognize and trust your intuition even greater.